Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to welcome all new subscribers. Remember to share this video with your fellow classmates who will be sitting the exam. Today's video is all about paper 3, question 3. Paper 3, question 3. What is required? Question 3 on the paper is your personal response to the issue at hand. This is where you get to be creative and show the examiners that you can write competently in English and also that you're able to use the language techniques effectively. So what are you good at? Are you a good songwriter? Do you do well at writing poems? Can you make drama and prose come alive? Whichever one you choose, ensure that you are comfortable with it and that you can bring the message across in a meaningful way. So for question 3, you are supposed to create a response based on one of the points listed in 1A. You can use drama, poetry, lyrics to a song, or prose. Your response will be assessed for relevance of content, organization of ideas, effective use of language, vivid word choice, unique voice or style. And all of this is worth 15 marks. Now let's get into what each of these items are asking you for. The following criteria will be used to assess the composition. So the first one, content and relevance of response. Your response should be 2 pages in length, not 1, not 1.5, 2 pages. The first thing that you need to ensure is that your response is clear and it is fully developed. So you don't want to have your examiner looking like this when he or she finishes reading your piece. Also, you need to ensure that the actions or events are clearly motivated. For example, there must be some plausible reason or reasons for the things that happen. For example, you are writing a dramatic piece and you included a setting that does not add to the overall meaning of whatever you are writing, then that will detract and take away from whatever you're trying to bring across to your target audience. So do not include actions or events to your piece if they do not add to the overall meaning of what you are trying to say. I'm sure that you have learned in your English classes how to grab the reader's interest and hold it. So once the examiner starts to read your piece, they don't want to stop because whatever you have written is so captivating. You need to ensure that you have rich detail so that you can create a clear and authentic picture and hold your reader's interest. Organization is another key part of your writing. If you are not organized, then you will confuse your readers. So the details or events must be logically and effectively sequenced. What do they mean by logically? It means that whatever you write, it should be clear. It should be reasoned out properly. Have you ever listened to a song or watch a movie and then when you're finished, you are even more confused because the parts just don't relate? So when you're writing, ensure that whatever you write, it flows in a logical or sequential manner. So the next thing that you need to do is to ensure that you have a memorable introduction and conclusion, whether it is explicit or implicit. This means that your introduction and conclusion can be stated directly or it can be implied based on what you have written. Your introduction and conclusion must leave a lasting impression on your readers. Another thing that you need to take into consideration is your use of transitional words. So your sentences and your paragraphs should flow into one another. Transitional words and phrases, they have specific purposes, and it is very beneficial to know when to use which. You are not going to overpower what you are writing with transitional words, but it is very important that you use them. Here are some examples of transitional words. You can always pause the video to make a note of them. Effective use of language is vital if you want to impress your examiners and also develop your own writing skills. In writing effectively, your sentences must be clear. They should be free from all grammatical errors and there should be no ambiguity. Also, your sentences must be deliberately used to affect style. The style in writing can be defined as the way a writer writes. It is the technique that an individual writer uses in his or her writing. It varies from person to person and it depends on one's word choice and tone. It can be described as a voice that readers listen to when they read the work of a writer. Now, there are different types of writing styles. You have expository, you have argumentative or persuasive, you have descriptive, and you also have narrative. So, if it is that you are going to be writing a poem for your personal response, it will mean that the style of writing would be different if you were writing, say, prose, or if you are writing a dramatic piece. Here are some short examples of style in writing. Or headache medicines will give you relief for 10 hours with only one pill and without any side effects. Try it today, and this is a persuasive style of writing. Another style of writing is descriptive. For example, from the garden, the child plucks a delicate rose, touching and cradling it as if it is a precious jewel. She hears a hoarse voice and sees a shadow moving around the balcony. As it moves closer to her, she screams to a gigantic wolf standing before her. This is an example of narrative writing. The expository style of writing makes use of factual information. Example, the Caribbean is a region of the Americas that consists of the Caribbean Sea, its islands, and the surrounding coast. Now that we have looked at style, let us focus on how to structure your sentences. Sentence structure refers to the way a writer constructs a sentence. Great writing includes all of the following variations, and the best writers have a firm grip on each of them. The first thing to take into consideration when you are writing is sentence length, from short sentences to long sentences and everything in between. The next thing to look at is sentence style, from simple to compound to complex sentences. You should also use different sentence types, from declarative to interrogative to exclamatory and beyond. Finally, the goal is to have sentence clarity, from direct and informative to intentionally vague and perhaps poetic. Another thing that examiners look for is your voice. The writing must reflect a unique, consistent personal voice. Here's the breakdown. Voice is your own. It's a developed way of writing that sets you apart from other writers. It is your personality coming through the page by your language use and word choice. As mentioned before, there are different types of writing styles. Some writers have a very flamboyant or fancy style with long, complex, beautiful sentences packed with metaphors and images. Others have a more straightforward style with sparse prose and simple sentences. Another thing that you need to aim for is connection with your audience. The purpose of your message should be clear and it should resonate with your target audience. Individual commitment to the topic must be obvious. This means that whatever you write should contribute to the overall effectiveness of your piece. The last thing that you need to pay attention to is word choice. So ask yourself these questions. Did I use any wow words? Did I use strong action verbs? Did I use words that describe the 5 senses? Did I try any new words in this writing? Ensure that the words you use are able to effect meaning. So you are going to use strong verbs, precise nouns, and appropriate adjectives, and they must enhance your writing. Original phrases and words must allow for reflection and thoughtful insight. So each word that you are going to use, you should think about the effect that you want it to have on your readers. These are the guidelines that you need to follow to ensure that your personal response gets full marks. So go ahead and write your personal response for the question and get featured in my next video. You can send me a video or an audio, or you can just choose to write it. If you found this video to be helpful, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. See you in my next video.